what's going on? The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast, brought to you this time around by Blue Frost IT. Love those folks over at Blue Frost IT, the managed IT service providers for the Eric Zane Show podcast. 616-200-8550. Wow, we've got a day and an age where so many businesses are like, all right, you can't come into work anymore. You're doing it from home. Well, all right, that's fine. People have adapted. But still, that's a lot of wear and tear on the IT at the home front. So you need to have a setup where all of those pieces of equipment are taken care of for your employees, man. We've got a different scenario. You need a managed IT service provider that works for you. And if you already have one, I get it. You're like, I've already got one for the business. Well, just bang on the door of Blue Frost IT and see how much money they can save you. At least just give them a sniff and say, look, I would just like to get more information about you. Please just reach out, 616-200-8550. And perhaps down the road, okay? If your kids are working from the remote setting at school, they may have a slow computer setup. That means you can call upon Blue Frost IT, and for just about $300 in an hour of your time, you can get a solid-state hard drive. That is fantastic. Make things faster for the kids so that they're not sitting there bitching at you, acting like it's the end of the world because their computer is slow as hell, for crying out loud. All right, thank you, Blue Frost IT. I got a mortgage guy. That is Mario Flores of the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Now, this is for anybody who enjoys the show anywhere in the United States, okay? Yes, it isn't just a local thing. It's anywhere. 231-332-6505. If you love the show and you want to keep things moving forward and you want terrific service when it comes to getting your mortgage, reach out to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, 231-332-6505. And last but not least, for the open, the Green Clean Technologies Company, 989-560-7272. They make sure that data centers are clean. Data centers are like in some businesses, maybe a hospital or a school or a bank. They got this IT room where they keep it like 62 degrees so that the shit doesn't get hot, and typically they have to keep that environment super clean, kind of like some of the sterile operating rooms you might find. Well, that doesn't happen by accident. There is a select group of people that can make those rooms clean, and that's what Green Clean Technologies does. 989-560-7272 or online at greencleantechnologies.com. It is the 14th of September, 2020. Oh, my God, I just realized I did not pay my house payment. I might want to do that at some time. Oh, my God. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now.
And now, here's a guy who got tired of being fired by corporate radio. So he took up being fired by Patreon subscribers instead. It's the Eric Zane Show podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny, and welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. What we got here, what you are witnessing right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or on the recorded version, downloadable wherever you download podcasts, is a daily podcast, a daily rant-filled, obscenity-infused, whatever's on my brain, rant, rambling. Wow, I think this is episode number 426. Yikes! Of my adventures, my news, how do I describe it? Covering news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. But I say that every day, and for some reason I can't come up with it right now. What a dumbass! But fantastic. Thank you for being here and being part of the show. And if you are enjoying the podcast live, there's one of three places you can get it. I'm not telling you to change how you get it. Either Facebook, brought to you by Irvine's, Periscope, brought to you by Blue Frost IT, or on YouTube, brought to you by a sponsor that I'm going to name in a matter of days, for crying out loud. But whatever happens, subscribe to all of those platforms. And if you could, for sure, one of those be YouTube. I don't care if you have two windows opened up. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, hit the thumbs up when you see a video. That all helps. This is all internet points. It's all I'm working on these days. It's no longer Nielsen ratings. It's internet points. Okay, I'll spare you the boring details. But that's how you can get the show, not to mention downloadable, on demand, every day, wherever you download podcasts, Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Stitcher, Spotify. It's all there. You cannot avoid the podcast. All you have to do, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, is type Eric Zane Show Podcast or even just Eric Zane on internet, and this will pop up. You got to be a real dummy to not be able to get the show. I get people following the show because they do the old, whatever happened to that fucking big mouth on that show I used to listen to on the radio? Shit. Oh, there he is. And so that's because when you post to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, whatever, you would think that it would just go out to everybody that follows you, but it goes out to probably 10% of those. And some of them are like bots or fake accounts. So it's really a shit show because you're looking at just over 20,000 people that follow on Facebook. But when I make an announcement, nobody sees it. I mean, hardly anybody. It's such a pain in the ass unless you pay for it. Facebook figured out some time ago that the best way to do this, and I give them credit for that, is to charge people up the ass. Basically, it's like a marketing tool. Pay for your Facebook ads. Shit. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's how we do it. Welcome in to this Monday edition of the podcast. And as usual, I have plenty to say about everything. I am extremely agitated for a lot of reasons, you know? And, and some of it is silly horse shit like the Lions. Some more of it is much more serious and profound, like the horrible attempted massacre of two Los Angeles County deputies. Yes, I am going to get into that. What a weekend. Here's how it'll work on the show today. What a weekend as everybody's favorite former drug dealer gets married. That is right. The one and only Throat/Dale. Throat/Dale's wedding happened, and I married them. Okay, I did. My first ever time that I've been an officiant. I will cover that. Speaking of getting married, Squirmy and Grubbs got married just a handful of days ago. September 4th, the nuptials of Squirmy and Grubbs. Who's Squirmy and Grubbs? You're asking. Well, I'll tell you, and I will describe how the world's trying to make their lives horrible. Actually, I'll give you a heads up. Squirmy and Grubbs are YouTube sensations. They have a YouTube channel. I'm not saying they're YouTube sensations, but they detail their exploits. Really not that different than what I do. If you think about it, just a different platform, a different idea. And it's really kind of neat how this is all unfolded. But what's not neat is how people are treating them. All right? Do not think for a second that I'm going to ignore the story of the animal that ambushed the two deputies in Los Angeles over the weekend. If whomever you listen to on podcasting, TV, radio, or whatever doesn't address this, well, just know they suck and they're pussies. Okay. In the line of work that I originated from in radio, the point was you always touch on the right things and you be real about it and you throw it out there. And it too often in that whole industry that I'm kind of disgusted with, they are frightened beyond frightened of actually putting their foot down and letting the chips fall as they may because they're too scared. Oh, fuck. I don't want to offend anybody. What if we offend people and make them mad? Let's just be pussies about it for the rest of our lives. Bullshit. I will get into that horse shit. And the maggots that are now making it worse, and the whole circus about the lack of outrage. It is just so beyond fucked. And I will get into that coming up. We got a kid in Colorado, school-age kid, doing the Zoom online classes, suspended for something dumb. Dumb really for both sides on this one. I think I am going to get into a fist fight soon, or at least a screaming match in the middle of the street. Some type of altercation is going to happen within this neighborhood. Something happened yesterday, of course, while walking the dogs. And you know what? You can go ahead and make predictions. Kenny, I actually want you to make your prediction. I know you love to get out in front of these things. You love to spoil my stories. But I want to see if anybody can guess the problem. What could have happened? Go ahead and throw the guesses out on the live stream, wherever you're watching the show. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You'll leave a comment. What, in one or two words, 2 or 3 words, what could have caused me to actually almost get into some type of altercation and will eventually, I believe, lead me to getting into some type of altercation? What could have caused this? What you know about me, the landscape here in the neighborhood? What could have caused that? Go ahead and leave that comment or email it in on the Green Clean Technologies inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. By the way, I am sharp as shit today. Well, I'm always pretty damn sharp. I make no mistake. I think I'm pretty damn great. But I'm hitting all the buttons early on. Okay, unless there's some type of catastrophe to get me off of my roll here, it's going to be a show for the ages. Okay, I've got 3 puppy dogs here. O'Neill just stepped off camera. O'Neill and Bruce, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and then Daisy Dew is in here. Daisy, our English bulldog. Got the 2. In fact, I got to move this love seat over so that you can see these 2. I'll do that in just a second. Daisy, brought to you by A&D Cleaning. Hang on a second. Stay there, honey. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay, honey. I'm just going to move you over so they can see you. It's okay. No, stay there. Stay there. It's okay. No biggie. It's okay. She's thinking, what the fuck? It's okay, honey. Okay, that's better. Look at, they know you're fantastic. Okay, now you need to know. She's squishing Bruce. She's a queen bee. Daisy is flat out the queen bee here. She does not fuck around. This dog, I am not kidding you. I used to work with I've talked about this before, an organization called the ARC, which back in the day used to be known as Association for Retarded Citizens is what it was known as. But that term's a big no-no these days. You definitely don't use that, you know? But they just kept ARC, and that's still a thing. It's still an organization. They just call it the ARC. If I were them, I would have completely dumped ARC. Because if somebody asks, hey, what's that stand for? You know, and you work in that setting of that place, what do you got there? Advancement Retroactive Core. Yeah, that's it. So, all right. Anyway, when I was working for the ARC back in Midland, Michigan, I was doing radio. I do radio in the morning, and then I'd do stuff with the ARC in the afternoon. Some of you remember this story, but this dude named Andrew, who he had like a mean streak, and believe it or not, he lived in his own house. His parents were loaded with cash, and they actually bought him a place to live. So he's got his own house, and he lived there with this other dude named Dean. And Dean was really, really happy-go-lucky. His temperament was always very much the same and even keel. And I would go over and I would, make sure Andrew and Dean had their meds. And we'd go to the park or we'd play Frisbee. You do shit. Just helping the enrichment of the life. Well, it was always a bitch because, I don't know, like every couple of weeks, Andrew would get a bug up his ass, and this reminds me of Daisy because she's the same way. Andrew would just decide it's time to kick Dean's ass. And I'll never forget, we were actually watching the Lions one day. This is in the 1990s. All I want to do is see Barry Sanders juke his way to another 95-yard run as the Lions lose again. And then I was watching the game, and I knew the telltale signs, but I was so into this game I didn't pay attention to him. If Dean starts like squirming and sitting on his hands and going and hyperventilating, that means he knows it's coming, that the ass kicking is going to happen. But I was way into the game, and so Dean's over like in front of me in a chair, and Andrew's to my Dean was to my left, and Andrew was to my right. And Dean, he starts huffing and puffing and going, ooh. I'm like, what the fuck? And at that point, I realized, oh no, he's about to get his ass kicked. Sure enough, Andrew gets up and dives on Dean and just starts punching the shit out of him. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. So I'm like the linesman getting in between Bob Probert and whoever else he's beating up. And Andrew's just raining down punches, and I grab the dude and I go, and then Dean takes off running down the hall, going, ah! It sounds like Kenny when he found out that my dad had to take that TV back. Well, that's what Daisy does. Daisy, Bruce will be sound asleep, and she hasn't done it up here really, but Bruce will be sound asleep, and she'll just wake up, look around, get up, and bite him on the face. Just let him have it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why? And that's her laying down the law. That's how it goes in this house. Where was I? I talked about maybe in an altercation in the neighborhood, and a lady in New Hampshire really wanted to show her boobs at the polling place.
We should have just, Andrea, put your tits away.
We got one of those too on this show.
Andrea, put your tits away.
She really wanted to show her boobs at the polling place they had a local election in New Hampshire. This past weekend. All right. So that is on the agenda for today's show. All right. What's going on here? Caitlin seems to like mouth, swearing, no filter, referring to your old pal Eric. Kenny says, oh, he definitely has no filter now, being his own boss, and OMG, you should hear him on the Patreon bonus one sometime. So I'm guessing that listener Caitlin might be fairly new to this. There it is. Yeah, she says, first time tuning in, and your mouth is my spirit animal. Well, I am very, very happy to hear that, miss. Don't be a stranger. This is America's best podcast. There's no one better. I'm just going to say this. I say that with the utmost confidence. There is no one who is as great as me. Actually, I feel pretty not confident about that and embarrassed that I even said it. Okay. Let's get into this Detroit Lions thing. And I know some of you might be like, oh, fuck. I don't follow sports and football's stupid. Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think that football's stupid or you hate sports, because you're about to see me lose my fucking mind. That's all that matters here. Okay. So I sit down on a day yesterday where I was in the kitchen cooking like I've talked to you about, I spent all of Sunday doing my Jesse Pinkman meth cook, except replace meth with food. It's this new Mediterranean diet. And before I get on my rant, let me just tell you it went exactly as planned. I bought all my ingredients Saturday. I cooked Monday through Friday meals, 3 meals a day for Diana and myself. That is 30 meals for Diana and myself. Okay? And they're all in their little containers and their portions. I put my salmon on top of my roasted red bell peppers and sweet potatoes, and it's all this terrific protein or hot. Damn it. No red meat, a lot of protein, a lot of vegetables, really, really fine eating, good for you food, finally, okay? And that was from 9:30 in the morning until I finished the kitchen cleaning it up at just at the time the Lions ended, about 4:15, 4:20. That's how long that took. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it, and now we have food. Diana and I, for the whole week, we just grab our meals for the day, and then off we go. And, truth be told, all of that food that we made, it was about $115. That is budgetary awesomeness. And it's like great food. Really good for you, excellent food. No shit whatsoever. I posted this book that I'm ripping all this shit off from at the In the News portion of ericzaneshow.com. I think if you want to explore that, you can look on your own. But there's a reason why I'm doing it. It has to do with me donating a kidney. I don't want to get into that all right now, but I'm really stoked about this. Okay. So I spend hours in the kitchen, and then we're getting close to the Lions game. I don't watch a second of pregame shit. I'm not interested in that. At quite literally 12:59 right here in Michigan, 1 minute before kickoff, I turn it on. I've got this little iPad here on the Wi-Fi. I watch my local channel, and off I go. Now, let me just say the first few minutes of this game, maybe the first quarter, you got these two teams, Chicago and Detroit. They've been shitty, both teams, forever, so who gives a fuck? And they're going the Bears are going with a quarterback who's a dumpster fire by the name of Mitch Trubisky. And a lot of the Chicago fans aren't happy with that. But look, you got to understand, the Lions have a way of taking shitty quarterbacks and making them look great. Lions have a bona fide all-pro every year in Matthew Stafford with a gun for an arm and just a smart cookie, terrific football player. I love Matt Stafford. All right, so this game gets started. It's kind of, teams feeling each other out. Not a whole lot going on. But I sense right away that this fucking game is typical Lions because field goals. Oh, yeah, let's go kick a fucking field goal. And it's, shit, it's always the same old thing, man. They kind of get into a spot of the field where they're in the red zone and they fuck it up. So, shit. And then, they handed the ball off to a guy by the name of Adrian Peterson, who for a time in the league was the most feared back in football. And he's at the very end of his career right now. In fact, he played for years with Minnesota, and that's when he was an ass kicker. But they hand the ball off to this dude, and he runs like a son of a bitch. I mean, like it's like, guys are flying off of him, and he's like a bowling ball and fast and elusive and strong. And guys are trying to tackle him, and their arms and legs are falling off. I mean, he's just crushing people. He's just running into them like, oh, fuck, this guy's still got it, man. He's like 65 years old, but son of a bitch, here he comes. Fuck. And so this dude rips off like a 20-yard smashing run, and then the next play, they do play action to him to keep him in the game, play action. So the freezes the fucking linebackers, and Stafford, boom, another 18 yards. Oh, yes, here we go. This is great. What do? They stop giving him the fucking ball. The fuck is wrong with you? They give it to some other piece of shit who sucks. And then there you go. That's the end of the day. It wasn't until late in the game that fat fuck, Matt Patricia, went, oh, shit. Oh, I forgot. We got AP. I mean, AP looked strong. He looked like as good as he did at that time in his career when he was whipping his 3-year-old kid's ass with a stick and ripping his scrotum. True story. AP star fell hard when the story emerged that he went and ripped a branch off a tree and whipped his kid with it like a switch, like old school ass kicking that you know, and he like hurt the kid, and I guess somebody turned him in or the wife turned him in or some shit, and he was like out of football because he whipped his kid with this fucking, actually cut the kid. He abused him. He's a fucking asshole. But he was running like he was at that time. So no doubt he probably has another young kid. And before the game, thank God he hurt the kid because of that great running that he did in the game. I'm totally kidding. I don't think he hurt anybody. That was just a terrible joke. All right. So anyway, AP's running like a son of a bitch, just like the old days. I'm like, oh, here we go, man. Big orange peanut. I'm glad we got this guy. I don't give a shit that he beat his kid anymore. I was outraged for a while, but fuck it. I don't give a shit now. All right, let's do this. We're going to kick the Bears' ass. All right, so then the Lions start leaning on the Bears. But before that, some dumb dick for the Lions, I don't know who the fuck his name is, doesn't matter. This is another sign that there's trouble coming because leave it to a player for the Lions to be this stupid. Some dude for the Lions was trying to demonstrate to the ref how another player, a player for the Bears, was hitting him with the crown of his helmet, which I guess you're not supposed to do. And rather than just saying it, this stupid asshole for the Lions, who we needed on the field, again, I don't follow football enough to know or even give a fuck who this guy is, okay? This stupid cock puts his head down and rams the ref with his head to show the action that the guy did to him. So the ref throws his flag and throws the asshole out of the game. Ah, of course. Holy shit. And so that, leave it to a player on the line. I mean, these are all little indicators that the day is going to be beyond fucked for the Lions. Okay. Nevertheless, the Lions start to lead on the Bears, who can't do shit. Okay. Mitch Trubisky, at one point, he's like, he throws the ball in such a weird way that at halftime, the halftime show, is like 5 guys. They all have an opinion. Most of them are former players. And one of them, they might have been Michael Strahan. And he goes, yeah, I'll tell you what, Mr. Risky, he's playing like shit. I mean, swear to God, he's got to step into that throw. I mean, he's stepping off of his back foot and throwing it like he's when you got Michael Strahan insulting the way you throw or dogging you about how you throw the fucking football, you're playing like shit. And it's true. Trubisky's balls are way off the mark. The guy sucks shit. But look, I've lived through so many terrible Lions football games, and it was all coming. Dick Stockton is the play-by-play guy in this game. And right away, as we're getting close to the fourth quarter, he starts talking about how many games the Lions blew the lead in the fourth quarter or the second half, or just games that they had the lead in. It was almost all of them last year. They led, I think, 11 games or something like that. They led. And then, they're just choke artists. But, so I don't think there was one person in the world, unless you're a young buck, who thinks that the Lions weren't going to fuck this up, or at least make it so that the Bears had a chance to win the game. A pal of mine, Zach Herring from Fox 17, he's really wet behind the ears, I try to explain to that fucker so many times. I go, dude, would you stop with this rah-rah Lions shit? You know what's going to happen. You're obviously about 10 more years of abuse that you need before you will be an appropriately responding Lions fan. But as it is right now, you're in your early 20s, so you haven't seen enough bloodshed, okay? But it was exactly 52 weeks ago, maybe a little more. I don't know when the NFL season started last year, but they They choked it off at the start of the year against the Arizona Cardinals. Remember that Kyler Murray comes out of nowhere? They end up getting a tie. And so this game, same damn thing. Dick Stockton starts referencing the blown fourth quarter leads. At the start of the fourth quarter, they're leading this fucking thing 23-6. 23-6. And then the Bears start sloppily coming back. I mean, it wasn't like they just were a juggernaut. The Bears, it isn't like they did anything really spectacular. It's just all these little things started happening to the Lions, okay? In no particular order. You had there was one moment in particular when the Lions were starting to really feel the heat about with the Bears marching back into the game. And the Lions took a timeout, or there was a timeout on the field, and it was 2nd and 5 for the Bears. I think this was their drive, and they were trying to go ahead. And they come back from the timeout, and the Lions line up on defense, and they actually lined up inappropriately, or there was encroachment, or in the neutral zone. These mental fuck-ups, you know? So instantly it becomes, now if 2nd and 5 becomes 1st and 10, completely changes the scope of the play calling by the Bears. And there was just so many instances of just butt-fuckery. Matt Prater, he just smashes a field goal attempt, which would have made this game even further out of reach in the fourth quarter, and he hits it off the upright, even though it was from way far away. He had plenty of leg. He just missed it, so it hits the upright, and that's that. By the way, there is a real problem with the I don't know if it's the Lions' fault or the NFL on Fox. I don't know who's in charge of pumping in the fake crowd noise. And I don't mind fake crowd noise if it's done right. But there's a way to do it. Okay? But just hitting one button, which is just frenzied crowd noise for the entire game, is not going to do it. Because there are moments in the game when the crowd shouldn't be in a frenzy. You know, like when the Lions get called for a penalty coming out of a timeout like that. The crowd shouldn't be losing their mind. You should have several buttons. What I have in front of me is called an instant replay. It's an archaic piece of equipment. It's a hard disk audio server. I'm sorry, hard disk audio piece of equipment with just all the different sound effects I use from time to time. Now, you can very easily write frenzied crowd noise, subdued crowd, building crowd. There's a way to do this, and it's just a matter of a little bit of arts and crafts that takes place behind the scenes. But the way they have it now is just stupid. And whoever is running the game operations of either the Lions or the NFL on Fox, I don't know who's running it. I don't know where it originates from. If that's actually in the stadium or if that's only on the TV broadcast, you know? But it sucks. It's terrible. You need a little bit more work than just one button. It sounds like I pointed it out. It sounds like the crowd at an AC/DC concert. Doesn't have to be that obnoxiously loud. But still, the Bears drive down the field, and they punch it in with relative ease. And, oh, my God, now they're in the lead by 4 points. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And like, we didn't see this coming. And so it's really something to watch. And I don't, somebody said, did you destroy anything? It's like, oh, no, I'm well beyond that. I kept thinking fourth quarter, as soon as Dick Stockton started to mention it. And then I was like, no, it can't, not again. Are you serious? The same old Lions again? And true to form, it is baffling. It's just so nutty how they have this crazy. They keep finding new ways, and I know this. You hear this all the time by people, but it's quite a thing. And you get these young players on the team who they don't have a belief in the world that this is a true thing, that there is some type of mystique of losing on the team, that it will surface at some point, but. This is how you convince these young athletes that they are losers. If you are wearing that jersey, If you are with that organization, you are a loser. You always will be a loser. I love you, but I'm not watching the game to see you win. You won't be able to put a team away. If you do win, it's going to be one of those, whoa, that was a weird win. They don't ever win convincingly. They don't ever win with, and they were leading the game 23-6 despite some massive injuries with this team. So there is plenty of fight in them for some of the game. They do have great weapons on that team, but they're losers. And don't you ever forget that. And there is no way they won't ever be losers. Just wrap your mind around that. And if you're like this dude late in the game, I don't even know his name, Swift. He's a rookie, okay? He is so optimistic about his future. There is no future. He'll be out of football before too long because he plays for the Lions. I don't even fault this guy because, as it turns out, with just over a minute to go, the Lions smashed the ball down the field. I mean, fucking A, I'm telling you, this team has weapons. And here we go. They've got 11 seconds left. They're, maybe 12, 13 yards, maybe 15 yards from the end zone. Matthew Stafford lets the ball go, and that rookie, he throws it to that guy who makes his turn and puts his hands up. And he's got it, and he's in the end zone. We have won the game. Holy shit, son of a bitch. They're not, they're losers because this guy's a loser because he plays for them. He may have been good at one. He dropped the fucking ball. It slipped right through his butterfinger hands. Of course it happened that way. Of course they blew a lead, and the whole fourth quarter we were just tortured. And, of course, with a minute plus to go, they march down the field and get within a handful of yards. And, of course, they've got a chance to win it. Holy fuck. The plucky Lions are going to win. And, of course, that fucker dropped it. Oh, my God. Oh. Do you remember? And then there was a moment before they gave up the lead where Matt Stafford threw the ball and it was picked off. I mean, there's so many different plays that are just. I mean, you can't even just point to just one. Again, I don't even fault the loser kid who dropped the ball, Swift or whatever the fuck his name is. It's not his fault. Yeah, I mean, it's yes, they would have won. But I would say the loss is 90 to 95% the Lions. Okay? Somebody tweeted to me, I think it was Zaniac Tim D. It was what was the exchange? All right. Holy shit. An intercept, he emailed on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. Holy shit, an interception in your own territory. How can anyone disagree with same old lines? Also, don't start breaking your shit like the old days. He's referring to a game where the Lions lost, and then I grabbed a golf club and started breaking my shit in my garage, and my neighbor Ken, when I lived in Midland, he sneaks up behind me and goes, "You okay, man?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's cool." This shit's busted everywhere. I'm like literally breaking my shit with a golf club in the garage because I was so pissed. I don't do that anymore. I'm much more mellow now. I wrote back to Zaniac Tim D. So many issues with that game. Holy fuck. And he writes, but it's not just this game. That's the problem. You see, Tim is younger than me. And I don't bother with this type of what he's about to say because it's like, dude, just enjoy it. Just understand that this is what it's going to be. You got to just look at these games like, all right, now what's going to happen? We're getting to the late stages of the game. How's it going to get fucked up? That's what you got to do. Then it's more fun that way. Make a game out of it. It's not just the game. It's a problem. He says it's this game every week for decades. The only constant thing with this team is the Ford family. That argument. I think they are decent people, but they are horrible with this team. I'll always be a fan, but it sucks. You see, that's the thing. I don't think the Fords had anything to do with the fourth quarter fall apart moment. It's cosmic. You remember when the Bears never, or the Cubs never won, and then the Red Sox, it's that level. I'll always be a fan, but it sucks. The only thing that I root for and I'm happy about is in the NFL is Tom Brady, but he is not doing well today also. And then I wrote back, the only solution is to assassinate the entire Ford family. Every old person, every baby must be assassinated. Of course, I was absolutely joking. He wrote, that might be a bit extreme, but I like the thought process. So that's kind of like, oh my God. Yikes. I can't even begin to put myself in the miserable scenario that must be going on for everybody involved with that football team. That is just a mess. And it was all so weird that, there's like a frantic crowd cheering during all of this. It was just surreal. And somebody tweeted to me, and I retweeted it. It's our first normal day of 2020. What a great joke. And so absolutely true. This is the first normal day of 2020 that we can remember for fans of the sad sack shit show that is the Detroit Lions. Wow. Okay, I've become a big fan of Bob Meany, M-E-N-E-Y, I believe. He's on Instagram. He has a pretty fun-sounding announcer voice that he uses, and he basically takes that whole idea of the announcer, and then he puts his own play-by-play in of various sporting events, and records over the original audio that you might have with the play-by-play guy. Like there was a guy who got hit in the dick earlier in the year in the baseball game. I forget who it was. We talked about it. I don't remember. But he put his own play-by-play over it, and it was quite funny as you watch the images. Well, Bob Meany did this for the Lions game in the moment where Stafford threw the ball to the rookie, and it went through the rookie's hands when he would have had the game won. So this is how Bob Meany did it right here. Thank you to Mike for sending this along. Zaniac, Mike Pellerito.
And 2 plays left for the Lions. Stafford drops back, looking left side. Got him! He doesn't. He fucking dropped it. You pay the man to do one job, catch the football, and he can't do that. Swift is his last name. It was anything but that. Butterfingers Magoo in potential shitbag titty fuck of the week.
Okay, that's his thing. Every week he has a shitbag titty fuck of the week. That is a really wonderful hodgepodge of nasty words there. What do you say? Shitbag titty fuck of the week?
And 2 plays left for the Lions. Stafford drops back, looking left side. Got him! He doesn't. He fucking dropped it. You pay the man to do one job, catch the football, and he can't do that. Swift is his last name. It was anything but that. Butterfingers Magoo in potential shitbag titty fuck of the week.
Okay, folks. Okay, if you're an old guy like me, this gets funnier with them now. And remember, it's gonna go down. I said 4 games this year. It might be worse because this is how it gets. Now next week they're gonna start off gangbusters. I think they get this guy. I don't know his name. Jeff Okuna. I don't know. He's a highly touted young guy that they drafted, and he's supposed to be just a shit kicker. And then they got this other offensive lineman whose name's really long and Samoan-like. He's great. Kenny Golladay is one of the best receivers in the game. The Lions have a ton of talent. I'm telling you. It would be just like the Lions to now turn around and rattle off like 10 in a row and be like 10-1. And then, lose like the rest of their games and then make it to the playoffs and lose like 65-0 or something like that. Where will this take us? Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun watch of these shitbag titty fucks of the week, the Detroit Lions. Wow! The open of the Eric Zane Show podcast, brought to you by three sponsors. We'll start with Horizon Hydroponics. A lot of you who are growing the cannabis, now is the time for the bloom. You've worked so hard for the big bloom. You've put in the time, the effort. You've taken care of your plants. Don't let this period of time ruin all of your hard work. Call upon the experts at Horizon Hydroponics. I love them so much because not only do they have brick and mortar stores, but they have an online worldwide distribution network at horizonhydroponics.com. And it's great because since they're a mom and pop brick and mortar and the online presence, they have a number right on their website at horizonhydroponics.com, and that's HORIZEN hydroponics.com. You call up, and whoever picks up the phone is an expert. It's like, hey, what do I need? This is all going down. I'm getting ready for my harvest. What do I need? Buy this, this, and this. Yeah, but I can't come and see you. I'm in Medford, Oregon. That's okay. Go to the website and buy it. Orders $250 and over. The shipping is free. Use my coupon code ZaneShow at checkout. You'll save 10%. Okay, that's how it works. The phone number's on their website. And if you just want to go in person, you can do that too. They've got a store on Alpine in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In Byron Center, they have the Growers Outlet. And then they're in Lansing and Kalamazoo, Michigan. So there you go. Now, I don't know how it goes because, once you harvest it, what do you do? Some of you folks are going to wait till the next growing season, obviously, if it's getting cold. So, you're going to wait through that. But some of you want to grow it indoors. You can do that. That's a thing. You can make your own sun. If you want to go the full deal, you got tents and air scrubbers and lights. I've had it set up here in this room. I couldn't grow shit, but there are some tricks to the trade, and they can help you with everything at Horizon Hydroponics. This studio, is named after Metalworks Body Shop. That wasn't right. Metalworks Body Shop. Fear Bunker Studio is where we do this show. They repair motorhomes, SUVs, not SUVs. Gosh, what is wrong with me today? Travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes. If you crack those up while you're out camping, you spend your hard-earned money on those terrific items. You want your equipment looking good. Get it repaired at Metalworks Body Shop. They're in Coopersville, Michigan, but they're serving the entire West Michigan community. Reach out to them at metalworksbodyshop.com, or if you want, click on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. It'll take you right to their Facebook page. All right? This great group of people that work very hard to make sure that your equipment is taken care of. They also will repair cars that are damaged and boats, but we don't mention that as much because the bread and butter is for the RVs. Thank you, Metalworks Body Shop. And then, my gosh, I am the very busy Benjamin and Kyle Newton. This couple, and you're like, wait, I'm new to the show. Benjamin and Kyle, they're lovers and they're married. These two dudes. No, Kyle is a badass lady who is a gunsmith. This is one of those rare female Kyles that you'll find in the world. Benjamin married Kyle, and all they do is bone and repair weaponry out of Saranac, Michigan. BK Guns and Stuff. No matter where you are in the good old US of A, have your guns repaired, customized, refurbished, clean by BK Guns and Stuff. Reach out to them at 616-902-2447 or get to their page by going to ericzaneshow.com and clicking on the BK Guns and Stuff logo. Wedding bells this weekend. It was beautiful. Custer Park in North Muskegon, Michigan, right on the shore of Muskegon Lake. A beautiful setting for the wedding, the high-profile wedding of the year between retired former drug dealer Throat Slash Dale, and his better half, Sarah. All right. Now let's kind of go over the beginning of how this all started, because I talked about this when I was marrying them, and they asked me to be the officiant. I was very nervous about that. I'll talk more about that in a second. But when I was addressing the soon-to-be married couple on Saturday, I focused on the importance of these two committing to getting healthy. And this is a perfect example of what happens if you finally get off your fucking ass and start taking life seriously and helping yourself. Okay? This is a textbook example of that, of the good things that happen when you live right and stop fucking around. Dale is what we would call a late bloomer. If you don't know, we have to go way back decades. Dale was the biggest fuck up in the state of Michigan. He was constantly in trouble at a young age, and then he discovered he could make a shit ton of money by using his very strong work ethic for things that are not so good. Dale was an excellent drug dealer. Very, very good. Very sweet to his customers. Dale's personality was always very good. It still is today. But Dale treated his customers very well, and he provided them with a need. It just so happens it's highly illegal to sell drugs. So, all right, Dale does that, and he's making a ton of money. I'm not kidding you, folks. If you've ever heard Dale on this show, the stories he has about his lifestyle, it's Jesse Pinkman. I mean, he is a walking, talking Jesse Pinkman, except much tougher, okay? Dale has fought MMA. He's a absolute badass. He's built like a brick shithouse. You do not fuck with Dale. Okay, so Dale for years is doing his thing, making tons of cash and loving that. But obviously, there is a downside to that. You're either going to wind up dead or in jail. You hear that about drug dealers all the time. Well, thank God he didn't die. But Dale started to have brushes with the law, and sure enough, the state starts winning that fight. They're getting this fucking dope off the street. So Dale does not rat anybody out. He keeps his mouth shut. They wanted him to turn big time. Dale didn't say shit. And so he would pay his debt to society, get out, immediately start doing the same thing, making money hand over fist. If Dale wanted to today, he could drop what he's doing, working legitimately, and go do that. And he'd be great at it. It's that simple. That's how strong the lure of that type of lifestyle is. Instantly wealthy, beyond a doubt. But you'll be dead or you'll be in prison. Dale was in prison for extended time. Many, 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 many years. And put his family through the ringer, okay? Without going into incredible amounts of detail, you've got family members that are just sitting there praying for the guy. Dale, please turn your life around. Please. Nope. My brain's as thick as shit. My skull's as thick as shit. I'm not going to turn it around. One day, it clicked. It finally clicked. Now, Dale, for a period of time, was out of prison, starting legitimate work. In fact, when I was on the radio on BBL, when he would call into the radio station, he was working legitimately, if I understand this correctly, but still not sober, okay? Because he had fallen victim to substance abuse because of what he did, of what he did for a living. So, all right, there's that. And then finally it all clicked. I believe it's 26 months ago. Dale said, I'm sick and tired of living like this, and committed to turning his life around and helping himself. All right, so then all these things start falling into place. Dale is daily going to meetings and committing to his well-being. Now, there's a lot of various things that go in that. I'm not going to get into that because that's an entirely different conversation. We don't need to unveil the specifics about the program. That's a private conversation. But all you need to know is that Dale commits to turning his life around. And that's I guess when Dale puts his mind to something, he's the best at it, because Dale has been a really, really good success story of what can happen to you when you plug in. And the thing that I know that Dale had said was, whatever it takes. So he means it. While that's going on, there's a young lady who is going through the same process. And she commits on her end. Well, it turns out they meet. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Dale's wife is hot. She is a stone cold stunner. And Dale is, well, he gets ultra fixated on shit. And all I know is that he saw her and then it was like, wow, kablamo, sparks start flying before you know it. He's trying to, this is what happens when you commit to living right. Good things happen to you. All right, fast forward. These two people are getting married, and that happens Saturday. And that's what I focused on when I spoke to these two people. I go, the fact that you have finally, that you took charge of your lives, and look at what's happening to you. You found love. Oh, my God. And look at all these great things are happening because first and foremost, you are concerned about your own health. You must have that type of mentality. You must commit to helping yourself first. And then after you do that, the other things are going to fall into place. They are, because you're going to be so many people who have loved you and prayed for you are going to be like, oh, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. You have saved my son or my cousin or my brother or whatever it is, or my sister. And oh, my God, just because you committed. And now look at you, your husband and wife. Oh, man, I'm so proud of those two. It was absolutely awesome. I was nervous as shit. We had a lot of people there at the wedding, and the rain held out. And, I just spent a lot of time getting to know. See, because Dale's got a lot of family. And so it to be with them all at once, it's kind of like I'm like just kind of talking to people, getting more and more background about how they feel about them and how they love these two. And it was absolutely incredible. And then as I'm getting started, I turn around and I see this enormous white ape wearing a black jacket. And I look at him and I go, holy shit.
Hey, what's happening?
It's Zaniac Kevin from Muskegon.
The clip of the day.
He shows up for the wedding. I think he was a little bummed at some of you. I think he thought some of you were going to go to that. He was like, hey, I go, hey, Kevin. Hey,
Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening?
Where's the other Zaniacs? I don't know. What the fuck? Do I look at their keeper or something? I go, I don't know, dude. They're probably screwing or something, knowing them. I think he expected more of you there. But I had no idea this guy was this tall. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck? Is the Undertaker here? Look at the size of this dude. This huge, tall drink of Muskegon water comes walking up to me. I'm like, Kevin in Muskegon? He goes, I saw that afterwards. As amazed as I was with his gargantuan height, he was as perplexed and confused by my dwarfish lack of height when the Facebook post was made that said, serious question, is Eric under 5 foot tall? What? Are you fucking nuts? Dude, my wife is 4'11". Okay, that's under 5 foot tall. How could you possibly think that I was under 5 foot tall? You fuck. I'm 5'8", and I can reach your fucking face, and I should have punched you right there. It probably would have been the last thing I would have done. But he's like, is he seriously under 5 foot tall? That's like the average height for people, okay? I think. What is the average height for men in the United States? Man average height USA. Okay, so I'm a little under 5'9". I'm 5'8", you fucker. Just because you're 7'11" doesn't mean you can say that I'm under 5 foot, you fuck. What the fuck is up with that? Oh my God. So that was awesome seeing Kevin there. I was nervous, man. Really, really nervous. It's available on Facebook if you want to watch it. You can see just how hot Dale's wife is. She is such a babe. And then Dale is a handsome devil. My wife is just in love with his juicy ass. Oh, she goes, I've got to get a picture with him. He is so, she was singing that Cardi B song. It was like she was ready. And then I got home and she's like, okay, it's time to put a bag over your head and tape Dale's picture onto the bag because it's going down. So, all right, I got to live with that. But it was awesome, man. Afterwards, we went to this terrific place to eat, and it was just an awesome, awesome time. The best being part of that whole adventure. Congratulations to Dale and Sarah. Next up, Tarantula Farmer and Christina are getting married. So, I've got one in the books so far. Number 2 happens in, when is that? October? November? I forget. When is your wedding? I only need to know 1 day in advance. That's all I need to know. I know I blocked it out on the schedule, so when I look at it, I'll say, oh, the wedding's this weekend. But I totally forget. Diana knows. That's all I need to worry about. She has it in her head. All right, it's time to introduce you to Squirmy and Grubbs. Who the hell's Squirmy and Grubbs? What the hell's going on here, Zane? Okay. This couple known as Squirmy and Grubbs created a YouTube channel. And for the last couple of years, you could follow the exploits of Squirmy and Grubbs. Why are they interesting? These two adults. Typically YouTubers, maybe young people, maybe a young Gen Xers, not Gen Xers, millennials, maybe Generation Z. Really young people would have a YouTube channel where they basically just shoot their exploits and everybody loves them. That's what you do, Shane Burkaw and Hannah Aylward do just that. Now, they're described as a certain type of couple, and it's a word that I don't even think is a word, but it's going to be a word. They're described as interabled. I'd never heard of it. And I'm not really sure about it. Is that a combination of interracial, like if you had a black guy and a white chick, black chick, white guy. That's a great song by Kid Rock, by the way. That's Kid Rock's life story. And by the way, if you go to the first album, the one with Bull God and Wasting Time and Devil Without a Cause. In fact, that's the title of the album, Devil Without a Cause. Last song, Black Chick, White Guy. Great, great song. NSFW. Anyway, interracial, black chick, white guy. Or white chick, black guy, or black guy, or black chick, white guy. I don't know. Interabled is one person is disabled, the other is not. Interabled. Sounds good to me. Squirmy and Grubbs. That to me is a winner. That is a recipe for high attendance. If you have a couple where one person is disabled, I guess. I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing. Aren't you supposed to say, I don't even know what term you're supposed to use. Is disabled no-go? It's ever changing. So if somebody could help me out at some point, I would appreciate that. I'm not going to look at the comments because that always fucks me up. But send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. What dude dude isn't like you or I. She is. Oh my God. There's a hawk right on the peak of my neighbor's house. What's up, big guy? Not a big one. He just like majestically, bird of prey, landed right on the top of my neighbor's house. She has no issues whatsoever. And she's a total babe. Now the dude, his face is very handsome, but I'm not going to say he's, well, it is what it is. He's got this issue, and I'll explain more about that in a second. Let's see. They ended up getting married. So they've got all these exploits on their show, and people subscribe to the channel and see how they do their thing. Well, she writes, because she did an Instagram post of their wedding picture, okay? These two people. And it's nice, and he's in a wheelchair, and he has some type of muscular disorder. Similar, it looks to be, just by appearances, maybe like a cerebral palsy type of scenario where his muscles appear to be wasting, I guess is the term, where they're not he doesn't have muscle mass, and it's a struggle for him. And it says what specifically in this article, and I'm just kind of doing it in order. So that's the YouTube channel. You get to see them be a couple, I guess. Whatever. She writes, in the past 2 years of having a YouTube channel that's taught me anything, it's that you're never going to be able to educate everyone. The lady, that would be Hannah, wrote on her Instagram, no matter what you do, some people will just never come around. Now, she's being way nice. She needs to write, no matter what happens, the world is full of fucked up assholes who need to die. Okay? To illustrate her point, she shared a photo of the happy couple at their backyard wedding on September 4th in Minneapolis with various comments placed on top of the page. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, the dude has spinal muscular atrophy, which I guess means your muscles are just shrinking, a genetic disorder that causes wasting in his muscles. He's used a wheelchair since he was 2 years old. The couple's YouTube channel highlights what a relationship looks like when one person lives with a physical disability and the other does not. Okay, so that's it. And I guess people really find it hard to believe in this day and age that two people like this, one like dude and her like her, can be in love and get married. And that's really, really terrible. She posted the picture of them and her holding the ring next to her husband. And then the comments she put over it. Oh my God, this is terrible. Is he rich or something? One commenter said. This is some kind of joke. Read another. My God. They need to do like an Instagram picture of him just putting it to her. Because he probably is packing heat. I mean, at some point they have to shoot a video or something like that of it going down. Of him saying, see, I got this. She is happy. Or doing something really, really dirty. Just to show that they can boom. Hell, be bold. Go big or go home, as Jetman once said. So you got to go for it. Enough of this pussyfooting around. If these pieces of shit are going to be so bold as to say shit like that to you, you need to stop posting to YouTube and start posting to RedTube. That's the way to go. You need to show the world that you've got the high heat that can make her happy and make her look like a fucking toaster strudel and say, fuck you, world. I've got this. Mind your own fucking business. One person asked, but for real, though, does she also have another partner for having sex with? Oh, my God. What? The new Mrs. Burkaw went on to say that worrying about these people's opinions is a waste of time. And as time has gone on, it's become so much easier to genuinely have no internal reaction to comments like these. Well, that is well said, miss. The couple have been together for 4 years. At first, reading the comments was painful, she said. For a while, I held on to the idea that once Shane and I were married, all the people doubting our relationship would realize it was real, she continued. Now, of course, I am not that naive. Oh, my God, this is terrible. Although it's taken time, I'm able to completely dismiss people like this, she concluded. Shane and I continue to make content and share our story with the hopes of showing as many people as we can that disabled folks are worthy partners. You don't need to try to prove that. Most normal thinking people understand that that is legitimate. So don't even worry about that. Comments like these only encourage us to continue. We're so grateful for all the people that our story has managed to reach in a positive way. You know, we are in a fucked up time, a beyond fucked up time when a couple can get married. And here they are, as happy as can be, and these pieces of shit are going to try to take them out in any way that they can. My God. You know, in a past life, I might have said the same thing, frankly. I think I've grown wiser as time has passed, but that is just shitty. My God. Well, you know, screw them. Congratulations. Just squirmy and grubs. Love is in the air on the Eric Zane Show podcast. And, you know, let me just segue by saying I know you love your kids, and with the pandemic, you might have let the getting your kids vaccinated slide through the cracks. That is very easy to turn around with the Kent County Health Department, and it may cost you nothing if you qualify. Reach out to the Kent County Health Department. Their website is accesskent.com/health, or call them at 616-632-7100 and get all that taken care of. Unless you're one of these asshole anti-vaxxers. If you are, I don't even want you paying attention to the show anyway. Please don't follow. Eat shit. Okay? Get your kids vaccinated. Not only that, get a flu shot. That's all with the Kent County Health Department, okay? I got to get mine. Thank you, Kent County Health Department. Okay. The paintball war number 10, oh my God, we killed Kenny, is coming, man. And we might have, forget 30, we might have 40. We might have 40 people by the time it's all said and done. Reach out to me so I can get the head count. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Subject line paintball. Again, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. If you want to participate in paintball Saturday, October 3rd, 4 p.m. I'm planning it this way because we're going to have a lot of people. 4 p.m. TC paintball. After that, it's not written in stone yet. We're going to head over to Pepino's. I would head over to Great Legs, but it's too far. It's not going to work logistically. We're going to go to downtown Pepino's. Okay, and then we're going to do that. So after paintball, we're going to Pepino's, just like the old days. Bring your mask for another Eric Zane Show podcast, socially distant get-together. That might not happen based on an email that I'm waiting on, but I'm reasonably confident that that is going to happen. I will let you know. But the important thing is paintball. Paintball War 10. Oh, my God, we killed Kenny. I have an event invite on Facebook. You can respond to that. But I want you to send me an email also. Eric at ericzaneshow.com, subject line paintball, and give me a head count. It only costs you $35. With that, you get paint, you get a gun, you get a mask, you get the outdoor field time. You can bring your own gear, and you are all set. Free pizza from BC Pizza in Grand Rapids on Lake Michigan Drive. Their website is bcpizzagr.com. If you want to enjoy the best pizza in Grand Rapids, bcpizzagr.com. Thank you to them. All right. I got another story I want to get to in a second. And before I do, first of all, the story I'm going to talk about is the ambush of the cops. Oh. Where to begin with this one? But before I do that, Stellafly is a terrific marketing company. Man, are they great. So here's how it is. You've got your business, your local business, and you think you're doing everything right. Customers are coming in. Transactions are happening. But you're not really marketing on social media. Well, you might be, but you're probably not doing it right. Okay, those are tools you can use. And you can do that for free. Okay, you can go on Facebook. You can create any type of profile. You can utilize Twitter. You can utilize Instagram and LinkedIn and whatever. But, I mean, why? If you're so damn busy selling your products, you might not have time for that. That's where Stellafly comes in. Reach out to them, stellafly.com, okay? You're losing money if you're not utilizing social media appropriately. Stellafly.com. You know, I think I'm going to pause for just a second here and take a look at the email. Okay. Bleeding Heart Brian sends along, apparently Chris Evans has leaked a partially nude photo. We got to see that. Why didn't you attach it? I need to see Captain America's pecker. What's wrong with you? This is a guess from emailer Tim as to how or why I almost got into a fight while taking the dogs for a walk. I'm assuming you got pissed off because someone suggested your dogs need to be wearing a mask. You see, I want to think that some people may have laughed at that joke. No, I didn't, because you wrote it, so it's not funny. But maybe someone else in the audience has. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just so beaten into submission by, you know, these horrible jokes that you post. They're just putrid. You have zero ability to write or deliver a joke. You might be the least funny person who has ever listened to my show. I mean, seriously, I would laugh more at the people who wrote I would have a better chance of laughing at the people who wrote the terrible things about the dude in the wheelchair that I talked about in the last story than I would anything that you write. It's so bad. Oh my God, how do you do that? Email eric@ericzaneshow.com if you think any of emailer Tim's jokes are funny. All right. Suggestion from Zaniac Rebecca. She says, if you haven't had the chance to check out the recently added show, The Social Dilemma, on Netflix, it might make a very interesting show topic for you or you and Ben. Thank you, Rebecca. It's a bit scary, to say the least. I love the show. Thank you, Rebecca. Hey, by the way, folks, if you ever want to make a suggestion about something for me to talk about on the show, don't be a stranger. Reach out Eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. Let me just say this. Tim, you might have won somebody over, albeit it's someone it's Kenny in Nashville. So, yes, he laughed at your joke, but it's Kenny. So, all right. You get a bit of credit. Nicely done. All right. Hold on. I need a little information on this story before I go down this road. First and foremost, if you are familiar with the story about the two Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies who were parked in their car doing their job and then shot at point-blank range by some gutless, nameless, faceless son of a bitch who has yet to be apprehended, it appears they will live. That is terrific news. Okay. So, how this went was Saturday evening. the two sheriff's deputies were in their car doing their thing. They're on duty. And you see in the video a person sneakily, in a sneaky fashion, walk along the passenger side, quickly pull a pistol, walk up to the window, and point blank shoot into the car as many times as this person can, and then takes off running. They are both hit. The dude is a 24-year-old guy. The woman in the car, the woman deputy, is 31. They are both very new to the force, to the department. You actually see the lady in the passenger, the deputy, get out, and she's shot in the face. She manages to call 911 and says, "I'm shot in the face." I mean, all hell's breaking loose. This is bad. Now, I mean, over the years, this has happened in the past, where cops have been ambushed, shot, killed. This is a very genuine, real risk. I can only imagine that anytime you have the blue, you are behind the shield, you're wearing the blue, your head's on a swivel, you know, and that's part of the reason why that job itself is such a stressful job. Knowing that. And that puts in the front of every single person who's behind the shields into their mind right now, that at any point, something like this could happen. So that's a very regular thing. And you got to understand, if you're at that heightened buzz throughout the day just doing your job. Now, I understand if you're in some bumblefuck town, probably not nearly as bad. But if you're in a war zone like this shit show place, I mean, that's a high burn on the brain. There's no question why there's such a high rate of suicide and divorce and mental illness for law enforcement. That's a fucking nightmare. You got to be really cut from the right stuff to be a cop. I mean, you're talking about cops and people fighting in combat, war zones, 1 and 1A, interchangeable, the level of intensity and stress. But all the pieces of shit in the world have decided to make it open season on cops based on all of the things that have happened in the world. And for anyone in the world who says this is what cops get or this is what they deserve because of what they do to minorities, you need to die, okay? You're the absolute worst, okay? I don't know where to begin about this, but this is such a different animal where you have two cops doing their job protecting that have nothing to do with anything that has happened, with any type of incidents that take place. And you understand that very rarely in all these incidents where black people have been killed, very rarely has there been a scenario where it wasn't fucked up from the very beginning. You know? And you need to look no further than anybody's body camera to see you got a fucked up scenario where then the cops are doing their job and then for whatever reason, guns are drawn and somebody gets shot or knelt on. All terrible. And I'm not saying that any cop who was involved in that doesn't deserve justice. I will reserve judgment until all of the facts come out because that's how I want to operate on all of these cases. Every single one of them, okay? And then if the right people see it and the jury see it and the judges see it and they say, fuck yes, you're guilty of murder, you go to prison for life or whatever, so be it. That's the way that goes, okay? Totally different animal, though, when you have two cops sitting in their car minding their own business, doing their jobs, protecting the public, and some animal comes up beside the car and shoots them and tries to kill them. This 31-year-old lady deputy has a child. And so, yeah, that's very different. And anybody who says this is what they deserve and this is how it goes, well, you're a fucking asshole, Okay? You're 100% wrong, and I hate you. Okay? This actually happens over the weekend. This animal is on the loose still, and I'm guessing they'll probably never catch this person because the people in the community are probably going to protect this animal. And that's that. So now these two probably will be affected for the rest of their lives, and who knows what will happen to them because of this heinous act. And yes, it's 100% different than anything that has happened on the streets, where like the scenario that remember the football players put the names on their helmets of the dude who got shot in the back and is now paralyzed. You know, that guy who was suspected of abusing a woman and was racing to the car to get the knife, and they shot him. You know, that guy. That is 100% different than what's happening here. So if anybody says this is justice or this is right, you're the fucking worst. It's not. To make this even more ridiculous, these pieces of shit in the street marched to the hospital to protest that these deputies are still alive. I am not making this up. They actually went to the hospital to say, let them die. Let them die. What? It's at this point that if I'm the cop and I come out of surgery and I'm there in my room recovering, I'm like, all right, where's my pistol? Because I'm shooting outside of the fucking window at these animals. What the fuck is wrong with this? Sheriff Alex Villanueva said it looks like they're going to be able to recover. We'll see what long-term impact is. We don't know that yet, but they survived the worst. They were ambushed as they sat in their police car. Shot multiple times, hitting both. The video is tough to watch. I'll link it up. Let's see. There was and then afterwards, they decide to go and protest and block the entrance of the emergency room. What are you protesting about? You must be fucking happy. Some animals shot cops. Why are you there? They're there actually protesting that they're still alive. Go back and have a party. Do whatever you want in your own neck of the woods. Who gives a fuck? They go to the hospital and say, let them die. Boy, this is really, really strange to me. Even if you are left-leaning, even if you are all about the Black Lives Matter, even if you are about taking a knee and football players not coming out for the anthem, even if you are for all of that, you can't feel good about this. This is a horrible showing by the other side. This is a horrible display from top to bottom. This is the type of thing, and it's very political too. This is the type of thing that as you watch the political landscape unfold between now and Election Day, this is the type of thing that is going to take the voter who's not sure about what to do, and they're going to be pushed way to the right because of all of the dynamic that is in play here. This isn't just about cops getting killed and black people are pissed and they want justice and the cops want them arrested. And, it isn't about Blue Lives Matter and all these names on helmets. This is political. And because of this type of shitty behavior at the hospital, on top of the horrible incident, is going to make anybody who votes for Trump have that many more people siding with them because of this. Because if you have anybody who's on the fence, that's going to push them to the other side. I can promise you. Absolutely terrible story. And I'm just mortified by it. Cannot believe it. All right. A little lighter, but still stupid. Okay. you got a 7th grade kid in Colorado doing all the right things. He's doing the online classes while mom is at work. Now, all right, hold on a second. I almost said something, but I'm going to save it to the end. It'll make for a better story. Kid is on his little Zoom thing, doing the classroom thing, and Zoom has led us to a lot of ridiculous things that have happened, a lot of ridiculous stories, and this one is no different. But it's weird because the kid should have known better. I don't know. 12-year-old kid is on the Zoom, and the rest of the classroom and the teacher sees him pull out a Nerf gun. Now, it's shaped like a normal pistol, but it's green, and part of the frame is black, but it's green and black with a orange tip, and you put the dart in it, and that's it. And it says "Zombie Killer" on the side of it. Now, if I'm the teacher, unless if the teacher has been told, if we see any toy guns, you must say something. And if you don't, you're fired. Because if we find out from another from the parent of another kid on the Zoom, and you didn't say anything, you're fired. Now, then again, you're in Zoom, you see like 15 different images. I'm reasonably sure you can say, well, I didn't see it. I didn't actually see it. If I'm the teacher here, I would just lay low and maybe deal with this after the class. Say, hey, so-and-so, kid, no more of the gun. That can get you in deep, deep caca. I would just kick that can down the road. Because the school has what is known as a zero-tolerance policy. Now, over the years, we've heard a lot of things where kids who do finger gun get in trouble. Kid who has a chicken McNugget that looks like a gun, they get sued or kicked out of school or some shit. Isaiah, the kid here, he busts out the zombie killer dart gun. Well, everybody wants to overreact. Well, the kid ended up getting suspended. Danny Elliott is the mom. She was at work in Colorado Springs when the 12-year-old son's vice principal called and said, even worse, the cops are on the way to the house because Elliot played with a toy gun during virtual art class. This is such bullshit. Elliot says Danny Elliott says she was terrified. I think I screwed that up. Her kid's name is Isaiah. Maybe I did say that. I don't know. Danny Elliott says she was terrified, especially considering her son is black. All right. I never thought you can't play with a Nerf gun in your own home because somebody may perceive it as a threat and call the police on you. Well, no, you're right. You shouldn't have had the police called on you. But also, white or black, you do know the rules. If you haven't noticed in the last however many years, schools get shot up. So in order to play it safe for the most part, they kind of like don't want any connection with guns whatsoever. Holy shit, if you even mention gun in a school, that's a big problem. So how the fuck you didn't know that and impress that upon little Isaiah is a miracle too. So you're kind of stupid. But yes, there's a lot of stupid to go around in this story. The kid was suspended for 5 days and now has a record with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Now that's just stupid. Come on now. That's really ridiculous. Do we really need to have the 12-year-old kid who's playing with the zombie hunter dart gun with the police record going forward? What does that do? Give me a break. And he's got a mark on his school disciplinary paperwork saying he brought a facsimile of a firearm to school, even though he was in his own home during the virtual class. The gun was obviously a toy, painted black, as I said, it's ridiculous looking. It's a complete toy. The moms lashed out at the school, saying it was irresponsible to call the cops given the frequency of police violence against black people. Okay, so we've got a real problem here going forward. With the cultural events going on right now, especially for young African Americans, you calling the police and telling them that he could have a gun, you put his life in jeopardy. I don't think his life was in jeopardy, Mom. Come on. Elliot said she thinks the school doesn't understand the possible consequences. Well, if the school called up and said, "Kid with a gun, go get him," well, maybe. I think there's this is my tale of the tape. I think the school is 75% wrong here, and Mom is 25% wrong. The kid shouldn't have been near the gun, but the school should not have called the fucking cops. Give me a break. Unbelievable. All right, as I like to do, I will have all these stories linked up in the comments of this audio podcast and in the news. Okay? I will link them up at in the news of ericzaneshow.com. Today is the day, if you did not catch the Friday podcast. Today is the day that all of the medical professionals that I've been talking with in Los Angeles about me donating a kidney will have a meeting. It's, as of me speaking right now, it's 6:39. They're all still in their homes or maybe just getting started on the day, all these medical professionals at UCLA. And on their to-do list in their calendars is meeting about Eric Zane. Will we give the green light or the red light to Eric Zane donating a kidney? I was tipped off on Friday by my nurse liaison, her name is Sheila, that it looks very, very good for me. That I have an excellent kidney. There is very little that they are concerned about. They said I'm 99% in the clear. The 1% is what we had talked about with my LDL, my cholesterol. My bad cholesterol is a little bit wonky, and they have to be assured that I have that in control, and that I'm doing my part to lower that, and I am. And then the A1C, the diabetes, which actually I did it in reverse order. The A1C is the most important. If that A1C gets too high, then I'm diabetic. You can't be diabetic with one kidney. It's very, very hard. I don't have diabetes. I'm not even pre-diabetic. But those are the things. Once they get that information, they're going to sit on it for a day. And then call me first thing tomorrow. When that happens, then I'm ready. They could, at a moment's notice, call me and say, it's time to go give up your kidney. It would be a little bit more planning than that. Truth be told, it'll probably be a few months down the road. It won't be till the wintertime. Let me back up here. This person, who would be the recipient, I graduated high school with in 1988. I've seen once since then. That was when I visited California recently. But up until May of 2013, I had never spoken to this person since graduation. While in high school, we weren't tight. I knew of him, and he was friendly, and he was always very sweet and kind, but we didn't hang out. But I knew him since grade school. Ran in different crowds. Back in May of 2013, we shared some dialogue through Messenger, but we weren't friends. And he sent me some short films that he'd made. He was not experiencing the kidney trouble then. I can't wait to share some of his films with you, by the way. I don't want to do that right now. That was 2013. May 16th, 2020. I think that was a Saturday. Sorry. It was a Sunday. May 16th, 2020. He popped into my brain again in that God moment that I've talked about many, many times. God said to me, Jeffrey, damn it, I just said a name. I didn't say his last name. Said his name to me, and I looked it up. And I was reminded about what this person does. At that point, I noticed that this person had sent me a friend request. And so I accepted it. And right away, at 11:09 p.m., he wrote, "Hey, man, hope you are great." And it wasn't until the next day that I noticed that he wrote that. The next day, I started to go down the road of, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, just shooting the shit. I noticed at the end of one of the messages, this person wrote, so nice to hear from you. The doc is one of my first film projects from 10 years ago that I sent you, the documentary. I've shot over 100 things since, but I'd love to share it with you. I'm doing okay. I'm dealing with a crazy health issue. It's been a tough year, but I'm trying to stay creative. Here's the link of what I shot. He's talking about his film. And I wrote, oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Thanks a bunch. I figured it was an old movie, but definitely worth a look. I hope you enjoy it. It's raw and it's beautiful. And he sent this film that he made. And I wrote, this is right up my alley. I can't wait to watch it. Thanks. And then I wrote, do you ever need any voice talent? I made this parody that you might like. And I sent him the audio of my Pure Michigan ad when I said, you are an asshole. That one. He wrote, funny, good VO, good voiceover. Thanks. He wrote, I'll keep you in mind for sure. Immunity working now because of the virus. Also because I'm dealing with sickness. It's a hard one. I can explain more if you're interested. He says, I hate being wounded. It sucks. I wrote, I truly am interested. Do you want me to call you at a good time? He wrote, I would love to chat. The disease is kidney disease. I have stage 5. I wrote, fuck, man. Give me a number. What time is best? He wrote, I've been testing. I have people testing for me for donors. So far, 7 people have not passed. It's heartbreaking. So that's what I was indicating with you some time ago, that 7 other times he'd been down this road with loved ones, and then for one reason or another, it didn't work. They weren't accepted. One person had cancer. They actually discovered cancer on the guy, which they corrected. They fixed him, thank God. He gives me his number. I'm home these days. I'm in containment with my beautiful family. I have 2 boys and a lovely wife. I'm blessed. Both are 13 and 11. Beautiful, sweet boys. That's terrific. You're in California, yes? He says, yes. I said, I'll call you at 4 p.m. your time. God, I thought this all happened on the week. No, I take it back. The first thing he sent was Saturday the 16th at 11 p.m. when he said, hey, how are you? And then this all happened, what I'm reading to you, on the 17th, Sunday. I thought it happened that way. I wrote, I'll call you at 4 p.m. your time, which is 7 p.m. here in Michigan. Then a lot of time passed because I then had that conversation with Diana. Now, I had been thinking, and I already told you, God told me to talk to the dude. Then God said to me, do my will. So, okay, God. I might not. It depends. Because I got to talk to the Queen of the Forest. And I know you trump her, but I got to live with her. You ain't in the room with her, and I love you. I love you like a god, but for God's sake, actually I said, for your sake, I got to talk to the Queen of the Forest. So I'm going to approach this a certain way, God. And he goes, all right, what is it? I go, well, I'm going to see how she would respond to this scenario. And based on her reaction, that will put, because I want to do your will, but the queen of the forest might trump you, and I know that's going to cause a problem down the road, but I'll deal. And he goes, do what you got to do. I said, okay. I said, hang on. I'll get back to you. I go, I want to do this, though. So then I say to Diane, I go, look, what would you do if, and I spelled out all the variables, friend from high school, and I didn't tell her this was happening to me. She might have figured it out, but I did it all very quickly. I go, if you a friend from high school and you found out that when you got reacquainted with them that they need new kidneys because they're going to die otherwise, would you donate? She goes, oh, yeah, hell yeah, I would. I went, fuck yes, so would I. Oh, my God. I went, God, hey, God, check it out. We're in. Not only am I in, but we're both in. Fuck yes. And he goes, fuck yes. I love you, man. I knew you'd do it. Go get him. Go kick his ass. Get it. Give it up. Yes. Boom. Done. So I go, all right, here's what we're going to do. Let's, we didn't even sleep on it. I just said, let's do this. She goes, yeah, let's do it. Let's tell him right now. Let's actually tell him right now. I go, yes. Okay. So I wrote, quote, what is involved in the process of donating a kidney? What blood type are you? I am O positive. My wife is O negative. We can give you one of ours if we matched. Wouldn't that be something? Now, truth be told, it isn't so much about match. A lot of people are like, you match. I've learned a little bit about this. Even if you don't match, as a living donor, you give it to what's known as a pool, a kidney pool, so to speak. And then you give yours, even if you're not a match, and then another kidney that matches recipient perfectly is given to that person. Okay, so they're going to get it. Turns out we're both great matches. He wrote, oh man, don't make me cry. This is a hard ask. I'm touched by this. And I wrote to him. This is on May 17th. I wrote, it's written right here. God is great. He made me think about you. I wrote it right there. Does that not give you chills? I told you that's how it happened. He did this. And that's what happened. And if you think, no, well, then what is it? What is it? Tell me what it is. Why am I here right now on the day that I'm going to be decided by the Kidney Transplant Board? Less than 4 months from this fateful day that we are at this point. What happened? Go ahead, give me the news. Tell me your twist on this. Tell me how you think I got to this. He wrote, I'm crying like a kid. Your heart is beautiful. I'm so touched. God is good. And then he wrote, and you're an amazing human. And I said, and I was quick to point out, well, this is a Diana and Eric thing. This is a team thing here. Because at this point, we didn't know who was going to give up the kidney. I said, I'll call you in a bit. Let you wrap your brain around it. He wrote, please do. I'm type O. I am so moved. Thank you for caring. I wrote, my wife's blood is universal. We can run out this ground ball and see where it takes us. He writes, life has been so hard, and this is a crazy disease. I cannot fight it alone. It's not like cancer. Here we go. It's not like cancer where you go through treatment. It takes another brave human to donate life. It's a hard one to fight alone. Thank you for even thinking about it. Looking forward to your call. I wrote, yes, sir. Now we got something to talk about. Because, how often do you get somebody on the phone? It's all small talk, You wrote, thanks, man. It's been great to catch up. He sends me a nice picture of his family. And then I sent a picture of mine. A lot of back and forth. Rest of the day happens. Okay. So here we are. On the edge of this. Absolutely massive. It's not over. This is not over. But this is a huge, huge thing. So keep your fingers crossed. Why would I say it like that? I said, keep your fingers crossed. Was that mean keep your fingers mad? Keep your fingers crossed. And say your prayers. And we'll get through this together. Why, I can't be in the middle of the street in my neighborhood getting into fistfights, but at least a verbal fight I think is in order, and I think it's going to happen. And I know I'm right on this. I can be nothing but right. And it's getting bad because I'm getting more aggressive. So that's going to lead to something, I can promise you, and I'll tell you about that coming up in just a bit. Speaking of hearing a calling, my pal Joe Martinez said to me, hey, man, I've been praying about something, and this is what I'm going to do. I go, well, what is it? He goes, I'm going to give away a complete install of a new furnace system, of a high-efficiency furnace, and I want you to talk about it. I go, well, okay, I will. That's awesome. So, yeah, that's a thing. If you've been struggling or you know someone who has, reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, subject line furnace, subject line Joe Martinez, subject line A&E heating and cooling, whatever it is, just as long as I can easily find it on the search function of my email. And then give me the details, man. Tell me how it's what's going on, how this would be a terrific, a great moment for you because, not like getting a new furnace is going to make it so that you're rolling in money, but it sure is nice and it's fantastic. And sometimes that's all people need to make them feel good about themselves. When something nice happens to them, it just, it's a serotonin thing. It's an endorphin thing. It makes you feel good. People care about you. Thank you, Joe Martinez. Do that for me, by the way. Don't be shy and spare no details. Give me all the dirty laundry. I'll keep you anonymous when it comes to reading them on the podcast. At the end of this month, I will have someone who will be the recipient. That will be a very tough thing to do. I'm sorry that everybody can't get this, but and then by the middle of next month, it'll be installed. How about that? And Joe Martinez from A&E Heating and Cooling, when you need help, 616-516-8579. It won't be long till, with great regularity, the furnaces will be turning on. Call upon Joe Martinez for a furnace tune-up, 616-516-8579. If your idea of wintertime preparedness is just click and walk away, don't do that, because odds are some dick-faced squirrel is probably set up a nest inside of your furnace or something like that, and then the whole thing's going to blow up. Actually, that happens more with air conditioners. But still, you want that thing clean yearly. You can't just go like years without servicing it. Take care of it. Joe Martinez does that. It's called the Furnace Tune-Up, 616-516-8579. We have a party coming up Friday. I just reached out to my pal Ben Glaze, who I'm really, really happy with how our podcast is developing. And what's going to happen is Ben and I are going to podcast on Friday, the Eric and Ben podcast, right here at 5 p.m. Again, it's all free during the month of September. We're going to podcast Friday. You can stream it live or whatnot, or just get the podcast, download it wherever you download podcasts after. And then we're going to get up from here and go to Great Legs. Ben's coming to Great Legs. It's been too long since you've seen Ben in person. He will no doubt be wearing a hooded sweatshirt, extremely concerned about his man cone tits that have sprouted from his chest area. So come see Ben's tits at Great Legs Winery, Brewery, and Distillery in Holland, across from that mobile home park on, I read it down and then I forget it. Hold on a second here. Legs Winery, Brewery, Distillery, LLC. They are at 332 East Lakewood Boulevard. In fact, that's just west of US 31, across from the posh Windmill Estates mobile home park. We start at 7. Wine, beer brewed by Brewmaster Tom, and grappa, which is an Italian spirit. That stuff is potent, man. Make sure you bring a DD. the idea here is when I've gone out with Ben before, like at Pepino's, he's hilarious when he gets sloppy drunk. And I'm not positive on this, but I think his better half will be with him. So he'll have a DD. So we're going to go there, and then Ben will get piss-ass drunk, and we'll have fun and maybe get Sharpies out and autograph his tits at Great Legs. We'll all be wearing masks, though, when we do it. That comes up Friday, so yet another reason to hang out with me, the Queen of the Forest, Ben, and his better half. What did we used to call her? Miss USA? I think he has a different name for her now. But she's absolutely lovely, and I haven't seen her in forever, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. Hang on. Oh, yeah. One more thing. Terrytown RV, they sell RVs, campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, Sprinter vans. They're awesome. They're on division between 68th and 76th Street. Terrific sponsor of this show. One of those crazy businesses that the pandemic made it so that business was booming for them. People stopped spending money on plane tickets, and they bought RVs instead. So the folks at Terrytown, they're like the big swinging dick of RV sales in Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois. They said to the manufacturers, if you don't make more, we're going to come over there and kick your ass. So they had to work double and triple shifts at the manufacturers to get these things made. Check them out online at terrytownrv.com. Please mention that you heard about them from the Eric Zane Show podcast. Before I get to the story about why I almost got into a fight here in the neighborhood, let's see. This one says, read later, I will. Nick says, emailer Tim's email about the dogs wearing a mask. He says, I thought it was hilarious based solely on your reaction. Hold on. I've got another one from Tim. And I'm not going to make the mistake of reading it out loud. Hang on. Give me a second. Okay. That's a good one. Let me come back to that. You actually struck gold on that one, Tim. One of the things Tim points out, and I actually was thinking about this point and failed to mention it, so I'm glad he reminded me. The outrage machine is not nearly as strong for these two cops that were ambushed in their car in that ridiculous fashion. The outrage machine for that is far less than any outrage for any incident that has happened involving cops being the ones who either when trying to restrain or doing whatever and somebody ends up getting shot or killed. The outrage from those moments is far greater than this ambush that happened. And that's not my opinion. That's just the truth. And I think that's pretty fucked up if you want to know the truth. That's how I feel about that. Disappointment at Throat/Dale's wedding. Signed, emailer Tim. I'm not going to lie. I was disappointed that the following didn't happen at Throat/Dale's wedding. Of course, Dale being a former prolific Jesse Pinkman type drug dealer. 1, hooker flower girls. 2, 60-pound strung out best man. 3, cartel decapitation. Fuck. Heroin shot dollar dance. And 5, knife fight. Besides everything that I listed, it seems like a lovely ceremony. Best wishes to Dale and Sarah. Tim, what the fuck got into you? That's actually excellent. The cartel decapitation is probably my favorite. Oh, my God. Okay. So this is me yesterday. I spend that whole day making the food, watching the Lions. The Lions lose. I'm not surprised, but I'm a little agitated. And then I'm getting to that moment of the day on Sunday that a lot of people get where you're like kind of bummed and stressed because the time off is ending. Before long, you'll be thinking about the work week grind. So I'm like most people. And I get a little cranky on Sunday night to begin with. You add into the mix the Lions. And, if I was 20 years younger, I'd be breaking shit in my garage. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go take my dogs for a walk. So now I usually look like a fucking redneck idiot in the first place when I'm walking around here. Usually sweatpants, a T-shirt, a stupid pair of Crocs. I rarely shower. And then I'm walking along looking like an asshole with my 4 dogs. Right by my house, there's this big bendy curve that comes in. Now, throughout this neighborhood, this place is crawling with kids. Crawling with kids, and on numerous areas in the neighborhood, people park in the street. And you know kids, they're going to come out from behind a car. You better have your head on a swivel. You better have eyes darting back and forth. You better be going super slow. To me, 25 is too fast. Okay? But we got these fucking assholes that live in this fucking neighborhood who don't give a fuck and drive way too fast. Now, with a little luck, because, I get doing a podcast. Not everybody listens to me anymore. I'm pretty much just washed up, withering away to nothing in this platform. I get that. I understand it. But with a little luck, fingers crossed, one of these fucking assholes can be listening to this. Or at least somebody hears it and tells them. I think he was talking about you. Like 2 weeks ago, some dumb bitch in the same segment of the road, this big curve, but going the opposite direction, comes screaming around the corner. So I immediately start moving quickly off of the road and into the grass. Now, I'm not worried so much about me getting hit because I'm always very active and looking around, and I can hear her coming. The motor's humming, So I'm on the grass, but then I'm like, fucking bitch. And I'm like putting my hands down, like, slow down. And I'm actually mouthing, slow down, slow down. She doesn't get off the gas even one bit. It's like she screams by me probably 45 miles an hour. Now, this was during the day, and thank God a lot of the kids were in school, but still, it's just fucked. She passes, and I'm like, hands in the air behind her, like, what the fuck, bitch? That was terrible. Yesterday, same spot, but I'm a little further on the opposite end, and the car is coming the opposite direction. Some dude's silver Chrysler minivan. I was so pissed off that after this happened, I went home, got in my car, and drove around the neighborhood to see where this fuck was. And I don't quite have a location, but I'm going to find this son of a bitch. And when I do, I'm going to bang on his fucking door, and I'm going to say, dude, I'm this close to calling the cops on you. This close. If I see you going that fast again, I'm going to call the cops on you. And that's probably not going to result in much, but ultimately, I want you to slow down. Slow your fucking car down. He's screaming around the corner. I think this is one of these people who goes to church like 5 times a day on Sunday. And here where I live, that's what you do. You bust your ass all week, and then on Sunday, you don't leave the house, and then you get dressed up in like a $700 suit, and you get in your fucking grocery getter, and you drive 800 miles an hour to church. And you go in the morning, and then I think you go in the middle of the day, and then you go at night. I mean, you race there, apparently. So this cock is flying around the corner to church. And he's got a tie on and a jacket, and I can see his fucking fat wife in the passenger seat. And there I am, and I can see him. And the car is listing because of the centrifugal force that's causing it to do so as he's screaming around the corner. With 4 dogs around me, I start to do the same thing that I was doing to the bitch from 2 weeks earlier. And I actually mouth as articulate and pronounced as I can, and you'll be able to tell on the video live stream of what I'm doing easier than on the recorded audio. Slow the fuck down, asshole. Now, if you can't read those lips, fuck, even Saul could read those lips, okay? Slow the fuck down, asshole. And this crazy fuck just looks at me, and his dumb fat bitch wife just looks at me as they drive by. And they got to be like, this son of a bitch is crazy. And I was so incensed there. Later on, I see a silver van, one dude in it, and I don't know if what the fuck happened, and bitch wasn't there, and I'm not even 100% sure it was the guy. Silver van, though, Chrysler, probably the guy. I'm not sure. Just to be sure, when he came around the corner, because I was back out, this is probably 30 minutes later, I'm visiting my neighbor, Keith, and petting his dog. I saw the son of a bitch, and it was actually much later. It's probably like an hour and a half later, because I dropped the dogs off, and then I went for a run. And as I got back from the run, I went to Keith's house and petting his dog, and I see this dick coming back, and I just hold the gaze right at him, watching him go by. Like, say something, motherfucker. Say something, you fuck. And he just drives by looking at me, and I'm like, I think that's the guy. So now I got to pinpoint who this asshole is, and then then I go walking down to my house, and I live next door to the guy who is in charge of the homeowners association. And the dude, I love him so much. And his wife is also a ball breaker. She's like a female version of me, really aggressive and doesn't take shit from anyone. And I go, so I think I'm going to get in a fight, and I give her the background. And she's like, yeah! This is the same chick who I almost got in that fight with that dude on the other side of the neighborhood who accused me of letting my dog shit on his lawn while I got a bag of shit in my hand. I go, yeah, you want it? Here you go, fucker. And that's the guy who I said, come on out here and I'm going to whip your ass in the street. Remember that story? I told her that story, and she's like, yes! Oh, hell yes! So we're all on the same page here. Son of a bitch, did that piss me off. Slow the fuck down. Somebody's going to get killed. And I'm all about it. It's not so much me. I don't give a shit about me. I'll get out of the way. This place is crawling with kids. Shit, does that piss me off. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. I love the multi-talented Megan and her mom and dad who run that place. If you need a place to get your car fixed, you know I have an army of great mom and pop sponsors. That is Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, 616-532-6600. You can call them. Now, they are in West Michigan, so if you need somebody to fix your car, domestic, Asian, European, they do it all at Irvine's. The best techs, okay? This isn't some place where you go in and the guy's fucking shirt is exposing his belly and it's all full of grease and shit and he looks like fuck and his hair's hasn't been washed in 3 days. He's got a big scar on his face and some hooker stabbed him. You know, these are professional techs with uniforms, the best training, not some grease monkey graveyard, for God's sake. The absolute best tip-top techs, service professionals at Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. You don't believe me? Go to irvines.com and look at the long list of 5-star reviews from the people who don't have a podcast. They are awesome. I take my cars there. You should take yours too, even if it's for something as simple as an oil change. Support the sponsors, support the sponsors, support the sponsors. Mention my name always. 616-532-6600. The king of DIY awesomeness in the Northland, another mom and pop. That's Baldwin Ace Hardware. Thank you to Mike and Jennifer Gilmer. You go up north, please drop by for a visit to Baldwin Ace Hardware and spend some dough. Walk through the aisles. Have them earn their money. Ask them a question, even if you know the answer. Baldwin Ace Hardware, when you go up north, do not bring all your stuff from the big box store up north. Just leave it behind and get it at Baldwin Ace Hardware. Right in beautiful Baldwin, Michigan, downtown. They also sponsor my Queen of the Forest segments with Diana. Thank you, Baldwin Ace Hardware. And our last mom and pop business, I rotate them. Some days they'll be at the top of the heap, some days at the bottom. It just depends on the day. Hello to my friends at JM Synthetics. Now, you go to jmsynthetics.com and you buy AMSOIL products. That could be a case of oil. It could be some degreaser. It could be some brake parts cleaner. It could be firearms lubricant. Could be oil for your marine, your jet ski, your personal watercraft, whatever you call it, your boat, your heavy-duty equipment, your side-by-side. Those things need oil. I want you to get it from JM Synthetics. And I'm giving away hats for every person who buys something at JM Synthetics. I don't care if it's 1 can of firearms lubricant. I'm giving you the hat, all right? Buy something at jmsynthetics.com. Get the Eric Zane Show podcast hat. Where is it? It's someplace over here. Do I got one? No, I don't have one over here. Anyway, I've got 5 more remaining. So I want them to be unloaded as quickly as possible. So just go to jmsynthetics.com and buy something, okay? I don't even give a shit if you don't use it. Just to get the fucking free hat. Buy some firearms lubricant and then gift it to somebody. I don't care. jmsynthetics.com. That's who I want you to call upon. Damn it. I keep kicking the story down the road about voting topless in the great state of New Hampshire. Is that where that happened? Topless voting in New Hampshire? It is. I mean, these people in New Hampshire, there's only a handful of people in New Hampshire who have nice titties to begin with, so that's kind of weird. But, fuck. I am going to save this one for the Patreon. Okay, I'm going to kick that can down the road because this podcast is getting a little long in the tooth. I'm thirsty. I have to pee. I need more coffee. But I will talk about this on the Patreon bonus podcast. You're like, what the fuck is that? What do you mean? Yeah, I do 2 podcasts every day. I do this one sponsored by or funded by the sponsors, and the second one is sponsored by you. So you go to patreon.com, Eric Zane, and then you drop $5 a month on me or $10 a month, and you get my second daily podcast. That's how it works. Oh, my God. But thank you, as always, for checking this one out. Oh, God. Email Eric at ericzaneshow.com if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, comments. You want to try to cancel me, shit like that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, folks. We'll talk to you down the road. Bye-bye.
Word. God.